What is up, everyone? My name is Jonathan. I'm the host here at The Jono Show. And today, to be honest, is a video that was completely unplanned. I didn't necessarily plan on making this video, but I was scrolling through Instagram, as many of you do. And as I'm scrolling through, I see that Grant Cardone goes live. And, many of you may know who Grant Cardone is. He's this motivational guy, this sales expert. His big tagline is 10x your life. He loves encouraging people to, make more money, go get the money, be focused on money, not because it's going to make you happy, but it can give you opportunities in your life, for yourself, for your family. I think a lot of what he has to say is really true. Obviously, there's been some controversy with him. He's been on different podcasts, right? You may have different opinions on him, but I'm listening to this live video and he's pumping up. He's talking to a room of people, right? In this live video, someone's holding the camera and he's talking to a room of people all about these topics, all about sales, getting their mind right about money. And I'm looking at these comments that are coming through. And these comments, he has 2,300 people in this virtual room, and the comments are just pouring through quick. And I'm going to paraphrase, but a lot of the comments that I saw coming through were questions like, how do I find what I should do? What should I do? How should I change my career? What business should I start? A lot of these questions going back to this root concept of how do I find out what I'm passionate about? And so today I felt inspired to make this video for you to kind of help show you how I found what I'm passionate about and how maybe you can use some of these same tips to find what you're passionate about too. So let's get to it. All right, what's up, everyone? We don't have a long show for you today. I want to cut right to the root of this issue because I feel like a lot of people are doing things that they don't necessarily love. A lot of people might be employed in jobs they aren't really passionate about. And I think that's really sad, right? We have a short life. We have one life, and it's important to do things that you're passionate about. It's important to do things you care about. But, a lot of people have different opinions on this. I just was on a podcast show with Sandra Sumner just a couple days ago, actually. And she said, no, I don't think you should follow your passion. And certainly plenty of other people have that opinion as well. Like, don't follow your passion necessarily because that's not going to pay the bills. And we're going to talk about that today. But, as I was watching this video of Grant Cardone that I described in the intro, I realized how many people are actually really missing out on feeling fulfilled at what they're doing. And I think that comes down to a number of different issues. But today we're just going to focus on the part of this where, you're someone who's going out there, and whether you're just graduating from college, maybe you're in college, just graduating from high school, right? Trying to figure out what you want to do, or maybe you're mid-career and you're realizing you don't love what you do at all and it's time for a career shift. The big question comes up, what to do now? And I know for me, the beginning of 2020 with everything that happened with COVID was an incredible opportunity for me to kind of look at my business. And, we were in the wedding and events space, staffing. We got hit really, really hard by the impact that COVID had. And it was a great opportunity for us, once kind of some of all the emotions had settled with a lot of our business, going away, it was a great opportunity to say, okay, let's refocus, let's recenter, let's decide what I'm passionate about, what the team that we have here is passionate about, and how we can pivot and shift and adapt in ways that amplify what we love to do. And so this is something that I think you can do at any point in your career, any point in your business, any point in your life, but I think especially it is good in these transitional time periods in life between high school and college and kind of the real world, right? Maybe even college and deciding whether you should go to some sort of postgraduate degree. But these pivotal times are wonderful opportunities to analyze what you're doing and really decide if you should pivot and do something else, or you should stay with what you're doing and continue on and be consistent, persist, and get to the other side of maybe a roadblock that you're feeling. So without further ado, let's get to these points. Point number one for me is how to find your passion. Well, I encourage you to stop trying to find it. I know that sounds really weird. You might be saying, Jonathan, what are you talking about, getting into this like crazy mindset thing? No, just stop trying to find it. I think a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves to like find that thing that we're passionate about, and we're looking everywhere and we're trying to figure it out. And we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to figure out what we're passionate about, but it's really not that serious, right? What you're passionate about, I think, is what you can't not do. What are you constantly doing? What are you doing when you relax? What are you doing when you don't have to do something, right? What things do you enjoy doing? Ask yourself some of these questions, and a lot of that comes from just living your life, right? And being able to observe your life and, understand what you enjoy doing, what you like doing. A lot of times we don't necessarily not like the subject matter of what we're doing. I think in college, especially as we're transitioning from high school to college or college to a postgraduate degree or whatever, we're really focused on the topic. Like, am I going to go into accounting, or am I going to go into business, or am I going to go into law, or is it biology or chemistry, right? And we're trying to figure out some of those things, when in fact, I think we should be figuring out more about ourselves as people. And, you can pick any of those topics, but in any of those topics, whether it's sports management, whether it's recruiting, whether it's, kinesiology, whatever it is, there are so many different career paths you can take in each one of those categories. And so I think it's more important to really understand, really dive deep inside yourself and understand, like, what do I enjoy doing? What can't I not do? What am I constantly doing? And just relax and be willing to be a little bit more observant of yourself and just start living life. Do some things that you enjoy and allow yourself that time after you do them to give yourself that feedback to understand, all right, what do I like here? What do I not like? And that, I think, is a really big first step in understanding what you are passionate about. Stop putting pressure on yourself to find what you're passionate about, and just be quiet and be observant of what you're actually doing in your life. All right, point number 2 is asking close, trusted friends, family members, or just people in your circle who are willing to give you honest feedback. Just asking them, what am I good at? What am I bad at? What do I suck at? What am I amazing at, right? And just giving them a total pass to speak freely. Now, of course, you need to be ready for the truth. If you're going to ask them for this type of feedback, you need to be ready for them to say things that you may not expect, right? You may need to be ready for them to say things that might hurt a little bit, might sting a little bit, right? But that is so important, because when you realize what you aren't good at, you also can realize what you're good at. And a lot of times narrowing those things down is a really clarifying point when figuring out what you're good at. So that really leads me to point number 3. And we're going to get back here in point number 2 in just a second. But point number 3 for me is brainstorming, right? You do need to spend some time. I said in point number 1, like, don't be exclusively focused on trying to figure out what your passion is. But here in point number 3, we have to spend some time. We have to spend some time kind of thinking, take a note sheet, right? Whether it's on your phone or just good old fashioned pen and paper, and jot down the things that you enjoy doing. Jot down the things that people have said that you're good at, right? And then kind of start to make this crosshatch of, like, the things that you like, the things that you're good at doing, the subject matter that you like. And all of a sudden you start finding this amalgamation of topics and things that you're good at, strengths, right? And you find out, wow, maybe I should do sales in a sports environment. And you never really thought that you'd like sales at all, but you love talking to people. Your friends say you're pretty persuasive, and you've always been involved in some sort of sport, right? Now all of a sudden, and you can't not play sports, and if you're playing video games, you're always playing sports video games, right? Now you're starting to see a little bit of a pattern. You can start to channel the direction of what you want to do and what you want to focus on based on that. So brainstorming is really, really important, and you can do this in so many different ways. Like, again, pen and paper is great, but you can also just look up different jobs or listen to podcasts or read books about people that have succeeded in these different areas. So again, once you've kind of figured out what you can't not do, right? Gotten those feedback from friends, take a moment to brainstorm and kind of figure out what is in the realm of things that you are currently doing that now are giving you those clues to getting you a little bit closer to something that you might be passionate about. Point number 4 is understanding whether this thing that you've settled on, or maybe this category or this job description or whatever it happens to be, this business, right, is a passion or a hobby. And the distinction is really important. You could be really, really passionate about rescuing dogs, let's just say, or there's so many different other topics, but you could be really passionate about that, and you could want to volunteer on the weekends with that, but you maybe aren't passionate enough to really push through all of the hurdles that are going to require to start your own shelter, or to do something that is really going to just commit yourself to that to make money. Because when you add money into things, it definitely does something a little bit weird. And I know so many artists, so many creatives out there know what I'm talking about, right? You know, someone's incredibly talented at art, and then they go and they now ask, you know, a friend asks them to paint something for them or write something for them or whatever. Now the pressure's on. Now money's involved. Now they have to figure out how much this should cost. And things get weird, and all of a sudden part of that passion pulls out of it for them. So again, it's really important to understand and just ask yourself that question. Are we talking about a passion for your career? Are you talking about something that you want to do and you want to make money at? Or are we talking about a hobby, something you just kind of want to enjoy on the side and not really make money from it and not go through all of the different types of skill sets that you're going to need to make this a business or make this a job? That question is super, super, super important. And that leads us to point number 5, which is be willing to face your fears, be willing to face your insecurities, because they are going to come up. You know, as you're thinking about something that you're really passionate about, as you're thinking about, you know, what you want to do, as you're dreaming big, and as you're allowing yourself to go into this place, you are undoubtedly going to run into people, maybe even the same group of friends, you know, that you asked. When you ask them things like, oh, what am I good at? You know, and if the conversation comes up and they say, oh, what are you thinking of? And you say, oh, I'd like to do this or that or the other thing, you are doubtless going to run into people who are like, don't, you know, the chances of you doing something like that, so small. Try to be more realistic. You can't listen to folks like that, right? If you have people like that in your circle, I know it's so easy to listen to them because, you know, there are people who are close to us, people whose opinion we respect, but you can't allow those people to get inside your head and allow that to discourage you and dissuade you from digging deeper, because what you're truly passionate about could be just around the corner from this thing that you're kind of scratching at, right? This thing you're trying to figure out. You know, you could be right there and you just have to push into it a little bit more and you'll find what you're truly passionate about. But if you're not willing to, you know, stick your neck out a little bit, if you're not willing to face your fears, if you're not willing to be vulnerable, you're never going to get to that next place where you're able to find that thing that you're really, really, really excited about. So anyway, I hope some of these tips have helped. If you've liked the content today, I would really, really appreciate your subscription here. We don't do a lot of ads or anything like that, any ads right now at this point, but you know, sharing these videos with someone who you know would benefit from them and subscribing to the channel would be a really huge help. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you check out the rest of our channel. We've got some great podcasts and other things, and you know, I hope you guys are able to take some of these tips and apply them into your lives and really find what you're passionate about if you haven't already. All right, guys, see you in the next video.